Hello and welcome to this edition of Diaspora Central. I am Gil Ingles, and with me today, ladies and gentlemen, is one of those individuals that you see very seldom. Very seldom, because he's one of those busy individuals that ensures that not only America is running, but that the continent is benefiting from the running of America. And with all that, he also ensures that everything is running in a legal form. Mr. Ernest, welcome to Diaspora Central.
Thank you for having me, Gil. It's a great pleasure.
Yeah.
Very kind words
for
you to begin with. I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to make the time.
Yeah, are you comfortable? Bring the microphone closer to you so you're uncomfortable.
Yes,
Feel at home.
I'm good.
Yes, sir, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, let's have this conversation. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Now let's the Diaspora Central is basically a show in which we start on inspirations and we try to end up on aspirations, right? And men of success such as yourself to us are pride of the community, and we like to showcase that because, in all honesty, all we do is showcase diaspora culture and talent. Can we do this conversation with you?
Oh, please. I'm honored, and I'm honored to be highlighted in this regard,
Thank you.
I look forward to the conversation.
Yeah, thank you very much. All right, so let's kind of get ourselves started. Country of origin.
Uganda, East Africa.
East Africa is in the building. As I like to say, diaspora stand up.
Yeah.
Uganda
East
is in the
Africa,
building.
Uganda, the Pearl of Africa. Never go wrong.
Right. Now, very few people hear much about Uganda, right? Do you guys have a big community here?
Yes, I would say nothing compared to the West African community, but we have a lot of Ugandans. Most of them in the baby boomer,
Gotcha.
age group.
You're right.
But slowly, of course, their grandkids and children are now raising up, and it's increasingly becoming bigger, and influential in the community here in Houston.
Yeah, because see, I'm a Gen X, so I met very few Ugandans. I do know one family of dancers in Washington, D.C., in the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area. They from Uganda. And the first lady, and this is a very interesting story, the first lady that actually gave me a paying gig as a live keyboard player, her name is Namu Luanga, or Doris Luanga. She's a musician, storyteller, and poet. She's an author, in all honesty. She's from Uganda also.
Interesting.
Right, yeah.
Interesting,
Yeah.
We Ugandans, I don't know why, but we're in a very tropical country, but we tend to end up on the east of the U.S.
Right.
I don't know why. You'd think most of them would be on the south or west coast, but we tend to go to the east.
Yeah, that is
and
right.
I'm not surprised that the DMV, Boston area has quite a few, not
a
the
lot
most
more than,
number of Ugandans in the U.S.
Yeah. So, and why Texas for you?
Well, initially we used to live in Washington D.C. area. DMV,
Oh, okay. So
Virginia.
you did do the
we did,
generic thing.
Yes, we did. we did do our part, and we started off that way. And then the target for Houston, Texas, was the energy industry.
Okay.
And of course, that is after the recession of 2008. Texas kind of survived, the impact.
Right.
And that was a driving force in speculation. You never know what's going to happen.
Indeed.
But you speculate based off of available facts. So the dice landed in Texas with the sole goal of entering the energy industry.
Okay.
Yeah. The irony is, when we moved here in 2014, it was still hot. Energy was $100 a barrel and above.
Right.
So we geared towards that. And in 2015, you remember there was a dip.
Yes, a major one.
Major dip.
Right.
And can you imagine, we had put our eggs in this industry.
In one basket.
And then that's what happened. So my wife, Sanyu, was also in the energy industry. I was targeting the energy industry. At that point, I was specializing in law school.
Okay.
And just before graduation, it dipped. But you know what? I kept positive, and I still managed to get a job in energy sector.
There you
It's
go.
Schlumberger.
There you go.
I count myself blessed, I would say.
The community is always glad to see a great example of a diasporan, right? Young, successful, non-ratchet. It's different.
You'll be surprised.
Right. But we need that difference, though.
Yeah, we need that because
that diversity.
I find that the work we do, you have to connect with people.
Right.
I don't know if I was raised this way, but I connect with all sorts of people,
Gotcha.
all backgrounds, regardless of your income, regardless of your professional background. In fact, I remember one day I went to a warehouse to learn how to use a forklift
Okay.
because I didn't know. Maybe one day I'll have to be a warehouse person.
That's on my bucket list. You know that. That's one thing that I don't
very
know
hard.
how to
By the
do.
way, it's a very hard thing to drive.
Is it?
The concept of when you have four wheels turning,
Right.
You're used to two wheels turning on the back.
Exactly.
It's you use, but I was impressed. I got the certificate.
Oh.
And I was happy with myself. But I said, you never know where this world falls, huh?
Indeed.
And I think I've been like that, and so I also tap into the social life.
Yeah.
Because I think. I know, especially in my area of practice,
Right.
I have to connect with these people and they have to feel like you're part of them.
Indeed.
And that's why I think I socialize on all levels,
There you go.
regardless of the background.
Yeah. Now you mentioned your upbringing, so let's talk a little bit about that family. Do you come from a big family?
Yes, quite large.
How many siblings?
6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
a big
second
family.
to last.
Oh, okay. So almost the baby.
Yes, almost, but never given the privileges of a baby. That's what happens when you're second to last.
Yeah.
You do all the work, and the baby sits on the side.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, but they also gives you one thing. You kind of have to fight for that attention at all times.
Yes,
Are you that
I am
kind
a
of an
fighter.
individual? Yeah.
I'm a fighter.
Yeah. Resilient.
Resilient. I've always wanted to do things that when I see something is easy, I look for something that will challenge me.
There you go.
Ever since I was a little boy. So, yeah, big family, mostly based in Uganda.
Okay.
Then 2 of us siblings are in the US.
Okay.
And again, maybe we'll get there on my journey. But Uganda is dear to me. And
Okay.
dear to her. My family is dear to me.
Yeah.
Very lovely. Parents are getting older,
There you
as
go.
you might imagine.
Yeah. What are their names? You can give us the names if you feel comfortable doing
Yes.
so.
Godfrey is my dad, Godfrey Ntanda, and Dorothy Ntanda, his wife, my mother.
Yeah.
Been married over 51 years.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
That's a great example.
Yeah, it's a milestone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, wow, 50?
51, over 51.
Oh, gracious.
I'm still counting. Eh?
Yeah, that's a lifetime, man.
Yeah.
That's a lifetime. That's oh wow, yeah, that's a lifetime.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
a great basis.
Some of us haven't even reached that age.
Yeah. And people are already married.
It's right.
That long. Yeah. But it's a good
Yeah.
foundation. I think it's a good example to look at.
Indeed.
I always tell them, you've done your part.
Yeah.
The rest is on us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is quite true. Now, any of them are lawyers? What's their
No.
professional background? Are you
No.
the first one to venture into law? Out of
Yes,
your
I am.
siblings?
I am. My dad is a businessman.
Okay.
And my mom supports him.
Mm-hmm.
And my other siblings work in that same business. And I'm the one who is a lawyer.
Okay.
It's always been a dream of mine.
Yeah.
And in fact, this passion from when I was about 14,
Okay.
I tested it by joining debates.
Wow.
Being from Africa, we debate in school quite a bit. And I've always been the little guy
There you
among the
go.
big guys.
Right.
But again, when you're a little one, you become defensive.
Yeah. Well,
you
no, you
fight.
become strategic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you have to be more strategic.
Yeah.
I'm sort of like the same way
Yeah.
as you. I'm always the little guy amongst the big ones. So I learned one thing. First, I ran a lot faster than everybody else.
Yeah.
And second, I do talk a lot more than all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after I talk trash, you got to catch me.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, it's good. I think also when you talk about talking, it's been everyone needs a defense mechanism.
Indeed.
And my words have been my defense mechanism.
Yeah.
I've never been involved in a fight.
Really?
Never.
Physically, never.
Physically.
Fought. Wow.
I use my words.
That's quite good. But you know what? Let's go ahead and take our first break and kind of take a few images of maybe Uganda, your home country, right?
Sounds good.
Anything to promote the country, anything that can actually show us what Uganda looks like, right? Can we do that?
It's great.
All right, let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to go ahead and take our first break right now. And let's take a look at a few images of Uganda that's in East Africa. And for those of you that just joined us, we currently do have Ernest, the man that runs one law firm. And definitely make sure that the energy industry is still good, not only for America, but also for Africa, right here on Diaspora Central Spotlight. We'll be right back.
Duniden kapong adok pachogo duniden kapong adok pachogo duniden kapong iden dawiden kadun Dawiden katum adok pachogo Dawiden katum adok pachogo Dawiden katum iden
This is Namulwanga mutoto wa Uganda Alubululo
And we are back. For those of you that just joined us, we are currently tuned to Diaspora Central, and our guest today is Ernest of the NTanda law firm. Houston is in the building, and Uganda is definitely well represented here. Ernest. Sir, Uganda, home country. Did you go to school? Did you do all your schooling in Uganda?
I did most of it.
Yeah.
Born and raised, and then after high school, moved to Canada for my undergrad.
Okay.
So I would say most of my school was in Uganda.
Okay. Now, in Uganda, any teachers of influence? Do you remember any teacher that may have influenced you, either in elementary school, that may have probably played a role on you becoming the individual that you have become?
Yeah, I refrain from mentioning names because I don't want one to hear they're favored over the other. It's kind of like a child.
So there were more
saying,
than one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's kind of like saying favorite child. No parent says that.
Yeah, but you can always mention maybe the class that they taught, the classes that they taught, and the school that they were in, because they themselves may
they would
listen to
understand.
it.
Yeah.
We do like names better though, so you know.
Yeah.
Right. Because that helps us create some sort of a web of individuals, because believe it or not, it's amazing on how many times many people, and sometimes even from different countries, end up mentioning the same individuals because they at some point crossed paths. So that's the only reason why we like names better.
Yes.
But we do take your
So my mathematics teacher in middle school was quite influential.
Okay.
I think he made me love math, even if I thought I was an artist.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yes, not artist for art, but
Okay.
I thought I belonged more into the history, geography line of study.
Okay, so more of a liberal arts.
Liberal artist. But he made it important that for me to understand, gentleman called Mr. Malunda.
Okay.
He said, I think math is important. And my dad being a businessman, I quickly understood that I think knowing how to count, at least how to count money, at the very least, would be quite useful for me in life.
Indeed.
I always thought that if I worked hard enough, I looked up to people. And I thought if I worked hard enough, I would be those people or even better.
Okay.
And moving on to high school, my history teacher at the time really did much for me, because at that point I knew I was going to be a lawyer, or wanted to be a lawyer, and I thought learning history would actually give me good background to different things.
Okay.
So I had close relationships with him, and I was vested in the relationship because I was very interested in the subject.
Gotcha.
And indeed, my undergrad, my major is history.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you did go for that liberal art.
Yes, yes. And then, of course, one of my favorite teachers in college is a gentleman that taught me. Miss Professor Palo taught me European history, American history.
Okay.
This was in Canada, the University of Alberta. And I found it very fascinating. I had other history professors, but this guy was particularly interested in me.
Okay.
And were not very many African students.
Right.
I would say in the whole school might have been maybe 10.
Oh, wow.
At the time.
Wow.
In a school of maybe thousands.
Oh,
But
gracious.
he had particular interest in me, and I also took it upon him to do many of his classes. I think shaped me, and he knew where I wanted to be in the future. So that was quite helpful.
Yeah.
In law school, there are several law professors that, of course, were instrumental. But in law school, unfortunately, I never ever wanted to do criminal law, but I was good at it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So, which is kind. Well, I mean, of course, someone who had to learn to defend himself and defends himself well with words would definitely make a good criminal lawyer, right? And would make a good lawyer. Period. Not necessarily just criminal.
Yeah.
But why did you not go for the one thing that you felt that you were better at it?
I didn't feel better, but I ended up doing so good at it when it came to coursework, understanding it. But then my drive for doing law, I'll be honest with you, was to earn money.
Hey.
And criminal law, yes, I know you make money, but it takes a longer time.
Right.
Kind of like humanitarian law.
There you
Very
go.
good. High respect for humanitarian lawyers and helping people. But I thought if I did maybe civil law or corporate law, that will earn me money, and I can help people after that. So there's many ways.
You got to have a strategy, right?
Yes.
You got to have a strategy because it can take a million ways of getting to the
end
objective, right? But you got to figure out the best way of getting there. Yeah, that's the normal.
So that's why I had to bring it up. I liked. It was easy for me. I did it well, but I knew that wasn't going to be my calling in the legal field, because my drive was financial, and then you help people along the way, but financial. Because when you do corporate law, corporations have more money than individuals.
Right.
Criminal law, you're dealing with individuals.
Right.
So I thought that if I did that, it would be easier for me to charge corporations.
There you go. Than it is a person.
And I think the conscious is easier. And then pass on those funds to help communities, like I've done anyway, through my law firm. I reach out to different communities within, of course, Texas, Uganda, and that's the way I help out.
No, and that is quite good. Now, one question for you: do you think that at some point you're probably gonna go into criminal law at all, or this is really like, okay, I'm good where I am?
No,
now,
I accepted, and I'm good where I am.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now, it's a very difficult field to enter, especially as a immigrant, right? Because you sort of come in already in a disadvantage, because you're dealing with individuals who, first of all, come from a lineage of deep, probably sometimes 2, 3, 4 layers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, those firms have last names.
Yes.
How did you manage to first get the energy to even say, you know what, let me give it a try? And second, what were you thinking?
Yeah. So my first, I interned with a mid-sized law firm, and gentleman who is a mentor to me as well in the legal field, Jamie Kigundu.
Okay.
Looked at me, we met, and he said, hey, let's meet, let's maybe come to my office. We had a chat. He said, maybe you can work with me on an internship basis while I was still studying. And that gentleman actually exposed me to how the legal field works. Of course, I had the opportunity to work with bigger law firms, Jones Day and all these big names that you hear about. But I thought that working for a smaller law firm would actually give me more exposure. And working directly with a managing partner would actually draw me closer to where I wanted to be. So that's one of my mentors who has been very instrumental in my legal career here in Houston, Texas, who, while working with him, then highlighted how I should practice law, guided me, which was good. I really appreciate it. And from there is when I got into the corporate world, going to Cameron International by the time, which was later acquired by Schlumberger. And the gentleman there, Mr. Patrick Garcia, who hired me, I remember they hired me on a contract basis. Because one of their lawyers was going on maternity leave. So the managing partner, Jamie, said, hey, you take the opportunity. I felt bad that I was going to leave the small law firm. He said, no, take it. It's a good company. And I knew it was a good company. It was in the energy industry, oil and gas. That's where I wanted to land and be. This guy had believed in me. You know, when you go to an interview and people give you a tour after the interview, you kind of feel good that maybe you're there.
No, at that point, you know there's something good.
Yeah, there's something good, at least. And
Yeah.
I said, who am I? The gentleman, we interviewed maybe on Thursday or Wednesday. Friday, they did the formalities. I was starting Monday. And I come to office and it's like, by the way, when you come on Monday, I'll be gone on business trip, so you got to run the show. I said, oh, really? Okay, interesting. Yeah, sat in there. Said, all right, Ernest, you can do this.
There you go.
He was away for a week. He got back, and he said, you know what? I've had some good feedback. You managed. But he kept giving me opportunities and things to work on in a way that I didn't understand until much later. He set me up.
Mentoring you.
Yes. He set me up in a nice way, put me, put challenges. And that way I got to now rub shoulders with the cream de la cream in the legal field. And of course, we tend to be very humble as Africans. And someone gives you or you do something nice, you still bow down. As opposed to saying, oh, I deserve to do this. So anyway, that humbleness, I think, went a long way. And from that, and Patrick Garcia is also one of my mentors. He believed in me. I left Schlumberger at the time. There was a restructuring that happened. Went into a healthcare industry for, again, a smaller healthcare management company. And now Jamie is the one who brought me in for that one. So he said, I'm like, oh, I'm done with this. And then he said, oh, but I have another opportunity for you somewhere.
So at that point, you're pretty much in a circuit of individuals that one believe in you, two understand your worth, and three, they know that they can help, they can project you to the next level.
Absolutely. And it kept, you keep putting yourself back. But I think, and this comes many years later, where I'm like, oh, maybe I'm good. I'm this good, But anyhow, when I worked for the healthcare company, now Patrick had gone, moved to the Netherlands, for working for a telecom company. And he kept coming back into Houston, meeting with me. He said, hey, would you be interested in going to Netherlands? I said, hey, maybe. I don't know. What's there? I'm okay here. I'm happy. But now he was working on taking me as an expert to
There you go.
Netherlands. And that opportunity, when it happened, oh my goodness, it opened up doors.
There you go.
Opened up.
There was the floodgate.
That was the floodgate. And seized that opportunity, worked on a major project for that company. Were there for 3.5 years. Really, really, really worthwhile.
Yeah.
And from that project, those 3.5 years, 3 years, you can't imagine how much confidence that project boosted. I worked hard, I'll
Yeah.
tell you that,
Yeah.
as a high performer.
He tested you.
Yeah, a high performer in the company,
Yeah.
among top lawyers from the US, from UK, from all over the world. And I still stood out. I was highlighted as
Right.
a good performer, and I hit targets. I superseded expectations. I was proud of myself,
There you go.
but used that after that to say, Ernest, maybe you can start your own. And that's your question. I know I
Right.
went a long way.
Yeah, no, that's what we're here for. We
And-
like the long way because that allows you to tell the story. Yeah.
So, and that's how I actually came to think about a law firm. So I knew the opportunity was ending soon. Came back to Houston for 2019 for the holidays. When we're here, I consulted again with my mentors, different friends, and they said, Ernest, you have opportunity to start your own thing.
Right.
I said, really? I never thought about it.
Yeah.
We go back 2020, but before we go back, I consider it strongly.
Right.
And of course, the boss of the house also guided me
Yeah.
and said, hey, if this happens, of course, when you start a business, it's different.
Your CEO, your CFO,
Yeah,
and
she's
COO,
everything.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I knew that if this happens, you're actually giving in, and it takes a while to get back.
Right.
So that was a risk. And I said, okay, let's evaluate and look into it. So went back to the Netherlands. It's the last year. And a lot of my mentors said, you can do it. You can do it. And I went for it. I said, let me
There you go.
start this, set it up. And then when we moved back finally in December 2020,
Right.
the law firm was in inception. And it's done well.
Yeah.
With good support of the community, my employees, support group,
There you go.
mentors, and I look forward to even growing it to further heights.
There you go.
Yeah.
And those are the inspirational stories that make you not only an exceptional member of the community, but definitely someone that is important to the diaspora. So let's take another quick break. If you just joined us, you're now tuned into Diaspora Central Spotlight, and our guest today is Mr. Ernest. Yes, we're talking about the man, the head, and the founder of the NTanda law firm. We'll be right back.
Agenze Gwenjagala agenze Kolentia Gwenjagala agenze Nalagawa
And we are back. If you have just joined us, you're now tuned into Diaspora Central Spotlight with Gil Ingles, and our guest today is Mr. Ernest of the NTanda law firm, Houston, Texas, Uganda. Diaspora, stand up, because today we have one of our major stars in the building. Identifying the need of a career and the purpose of that career is probably one of the most difficult things that people go through. You previously mentioned something. You decided to go for the law, for corporate law, because you knew that there is money. But yet on the same note, you knew that you needed to use that money also to help other causes, social causes that you believe in. Now, of course, many people at times don't build up the confidence in such short amount of time to actually take the leap of faith and create something of their own. Your faith in a better future, what would you I guess, say that triggered that the most? Was it home, family, mentorship, a combination of all?
It was a combination of two things. I'm social, and I come across sometimes when I socialize, simple, relaxed, and many times I learned that people thought I could never do it.
Right.
They thought what I wanted to achieve was too ambitious and could not happen. So that was a driving force. When someone tells you can't do something, but you believe inside you that you can, that's one of them. The other thing, and I attribute this a lot to, is my mentors, the people I associated myself with. You always have so many people around you, but you have to, and you gotta pick out some things from everybody. There's going to be people who inspire you socially, some people professionally, others going to be from an economic perspective, financially, other people just a way of life. So I kept on, I'm a very observant person, and maybe that's what makes me the lawyer I am. I read body language, I read people's, the way they speak, and I pick certain things here and there. And in fact, some guy asked me, "You're a lawyer, do you read a lot of books?" I said, "Yeah, for work, but not so much books for leisure." Right. Actually, I'd rather sit with people and storytell. Back in the day, that was a way of learning.
Indeed.
Storytelling.
Indeed.
I like storytelling. Either I'm being told a story or I'm telling one.
Yeah.
And I think Africans are good at that.
Yeah, typical.
Yeah. And half of the time, the story is spiced up.
Indeed.
So you have to pick up what's true.
If it's not exaggerated well enough, it's not good.
It's not a good story.
Right.
Yeah. So I like to sit around with different people, different backgrounds, different stages of life.
Yeah.
And listen to what they say.
There you go.
Sometimes people even talk about nothing, but that nothing is something.
Yeah.
So there's that aspect. There's an aspect of I always risk. I say I have appetite for risk to seize a moment.
Okay.
I say this can work. I can do this, and once I start something, I don't want to fail.
There you go.
And for me, that's, I think, what brings everything together.
Yeah.
When you tell someone, "Hey, by the way, I'm thinking of doing this," and they're taken aback.
Yeah.
Like, this guy is crazy.
Yeah.
Why would he do that?
Right. At that point.
For instance, why start a law firm? I'm offering you a job.
Right.
Because move back to Houston, people are offering me corporate in-house positions.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, thank you.
Yeah. But
this is what I'm trying to pursue. I'm not saying if it doesn't work out,
right,
I don't have that much pride not to come back. Right. But respectfully, can I give this a try?
Yeah.
And I ask you to be with me while I give this a try.
Right. It's my time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when I do, I give it my all. And in fact, sometimes I get in trouble with my wife because she's like, "You work too much."
Yeah.
Or maybe you're so passionate.
It's but that's a characteristic of overachievers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Driven people, they focus on one thing at a time and move a lot faster. So it does feel like they multitasking, but they really not. They focused on one thing at a time. It's just that when they focus, they on ultra speed.
Yeah.
Right. And during that, you kind of tend to neglect the things at times that are probably more important, but they just not a problem.
Because you're focused at that time.
We focus on problems versus focusing on things that are going well.
Yeah.
Right. But
and you know what, that brings me to memory, and I remind my wife.
Yeah.
I say, "Hey, you realize we met and got married a year from the day we met." And that is a supersonic speed. When you talk about fast, it's true actually. Yeah, you're very observant. Yeah. And traditionally, that's very fast. I proposed to my wife 3 months after meeting her.
There you go.
And was married to her a year later. Within a year from meeting her.
Right.
And everyone thought,
Yeah.
who were crazy.
Yeah.
But I knew and had seen, and I
Yeah.
knew this is it. And this
Yeah.
person is going to be the
Right.
person I move with
Right.
moving forward.
Yeah.
Something,
Mm-hmm.
when you grab a business and I say, this is what I was scared
Mm-hmm.
to do and make this decision.
Yeah.
Because, of course, you're injecting certain savings and money or capital, whatever.
Yeah.
Is it going to work out?
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? You give it a shot, but give it the best shot you got. The best. You know, empanadas, eh?
Yes.
There's a
Yeah.
Mexicans
the
when they're...
piñatas, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
When I see those guys, when they're blindfolded,
Swinging.
eh?
Right.
they swing. eh?
Right.
And they're giving it their whole because if
If it hits,
it hits,
it's a hit.
that candy better fall.
Right.
So, and
Yeah.
that's how I look at life.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I take risk, but it's calculated as well.
Indeed.
And I don't want to do something that's gonna put us in danger or put my community or my employees or people around me.
Yeah.
But
No
this-
recklessness.
Yeah,
But,
but again, ambition drives and drives hard. So if I was, and again, the beginning of this conversation was to try and inspire people who are trying to do things, whatever field. You see a moment and you feel confident that you can do it, and you have characteristics that show you can do such a thing. You seize the moment.
seize that moment.
Seize the moment.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Ernest, you guys are involved in a lot of social activities as a law firm, and even on a personal basis also. I mean, of course, I know Sanya, your spouse. She's part of the SET Institute, which is a non-profit organization. It's an organization right here in Houston that basically our home away from home. It's the most peaceful place that I know away from my house.
Yeah.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about some of those initiatives, some of the things that you,
I've done, yeah.
from a personal perspective and from a corporate perspective, you kind of are trying to, I guess, empower, right? Share some of those with us.
Well, of course, I had to start with home. The Houston Ugandan community
Okay.
is where I started off helping. So the farm basically was initiated in 2020, but didn't really kick off real business until January 2021.
Right.
So we're about a year and a half in.
Yeah. And you were right in the middle, I mean, right at the beginning of the pandemic here, right?
Yeah. But you know what? The pandemic came as an advantage
Right.
because then I was
Everything
at home,
was
working
slow.
from home.
Right.
Things are slow.
Yeah.
So then Sanyo and I start setting up this law firm remotely.
Right.
It gave us some time
Yeah.
to create websites, talk to people and all that. So again, you see the what?
The
A moment. There's a
moment, yeah,
pandemic. It's
yeah.
sad,
Yeah.
frustrating.
Yeah.
It threw us off. We seized the moment
Right.
and did something with it.
Take those lemons and make lemonade.
Absolutely. In
Yeah.
the pandemic, we spent less money than we usually did.
Right.
We were blessed to keep a job. Some people lost their jobs.
Yeah.
So then that translated to, hey, maybe that could be capital for our new initiative.
Yeah.
So I would say the pandemic was really, really bad to all of us.
Right.
But we had to do something with it.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
Yeah,
with
take
the
advantage
pandemic.
of
That's
some
what
of
my
those
family
things.
did with the pandemic.
Right.
We started a law firm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what have we done for the community? Even if the farm is 1.5 years in,
Right.
I think 6 months into business, we're already going in and
Right.
sharing.
Yeah.
Houston Uganda community, we've been part of different initiatives. Independence Day,
Yeah.
sports galas. They have had fundraisers
Okay.
that we have been part of. Even if we're not contributing so much,
Right.
we have given contributions that, and I've had
Yeah.
members say, oh, that made a change.
Exactly.
It made a change.
And that's what's important sometimes. You don't have to give them the world, but give enough to make a difference, right?
We give financial and we give also
Yeah.
our human
Know-how,
resource.
labor, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I help them with legal matters.
Yeah.
We've been to Dallas. We have also had sponsorships there.
Yeah.
We have done some stuff in Uganda to help people with schools. We we have also done different initiatives with churches.
Okay.
We contribute to churches.
Yeah.
Where religion is important. Huh?
Yeah, definitely.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
my mom would
Yeah.
be with
Yeah.
me. So we have also contributed to churches, and I believe in the cause. We're now looking to partner with different initiatives. The one that we're working on now is going to be with a prominent artist here in Houston.
Okay.
And Rotary Club of Houston.
There you go.
That's the one on the horizon.
There
And
you go.
Rotary is service above self.
Yeah.
The law firm is based off of the premise of I selflessly represent my clients.
There you go.
There's a corporate side of business.
Yeah.
Then I have a personal injury side of business.
Yeah.
When you go to personal injury, you're really dealing with people who need help.
Right.
Because insurance companies are insurance companies.
Yeah.
They really don't care.
No, they dare to get money.
Yeah. So
Get your money.
if I can represent, and really there's a difference between a client with a claim that's represented and a client that's not represented. There's always a difference. I tell people this all the time.
Wow.
But when I do it,
Yeah.
personal injury lawyers have a bad name and reputation. They're looked at differently. And I said when I came into this business, I told myself, I'm going to be a different personal injury lawyer.
Okay.
That represents a different picture from the rest of the image that has been painted. Not every personal injury lawyer is bad.
Right.
There's some good ones that I know that are honest, that are righteous, that are there for the client. And I said, I'm going to be that lawyer to my people.
An exemplary one.
Yes. And that's how, again, I give back to my community.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are many ways, because, when you're a lawyer, I think I'm the only licensed Ugandan lawyer here in Houston that I know of, at least.
Okay.
From Uganda.
Okay. Yeah.
And when people know, that guy is a lawyer, even if you went to someone's kid's birthday party at a Ugandan party, our lawyer.
There you go.
And people will call you with all sorts of, I don't practice these things,
Right.
but they're like, I have a problem here, I have
Right.
that. And I say, hey, I've given some pro bono guidance.
Right, yeah.
I've also pointed them in the right direction.
Referrals and
Yeah, I'll take the time.
yeah.
I'll take the time.
No, indeed.
And I think that's giving back in a way.
Oh no, it is,
Yeah.
and it is important because, in all honesty, I think that especially for a community of Africans in the diaspora, that's the one thing that we have done very seldom. It's to actually share intelligence, share knowledge, right? We never capitalize on that. A lot of times, it's always been like, you kind of actually sit in a corner and you watch who's doing what, and then you see how they doing, and then you just go and do it. Instead of coming out and saying, hey, I see that you're doing this, I'm also interested on this, so that you may even give them probably a better advice by saying, hey, you know what? Instead of doing what I'm doing, here's what you need to do. See, eventually someone is going to have to do the next thing. So why don't you already start doing the next thing so that once I'm done, I'm passing the ball over to you and you can carry it on to the next level.
Right.
We don't do that very much. Our community of Africans in the diaspora is very new to this, but I'm glad to see that this generation is actually thinking about doing things of that sort. Now, what are the things that, in your opinion, you believe that the diaspora can do probably better to improve its state?
Yeah. When you talk about diaspora, and again, this is the direction now I am taking. I've done stuff in the US, it will continue. Now I'm pivoting and saying Uganda.
Okay.
So trying to open up doors there. It's going to be a bit hard. Of course, you need to be involved a bit more. I think this is what we can do. If you have a profession that you think can be helpful, because when you live and study, even if you're not born here, you pick up certain things. And I think Africans, we are good at this.
Yeah.
We are well-read, well-studied, and when we pick up something, we really master it.
Yeah.
We come here, we acquire certain attributes, ethical behaviors that are lacking in our continent.
Right.
To be fair.
Yeah. I just had that conversation yesterday with someone.
Yeah.
Please continue.
So I think And I appeal to anyone who is in any profession but has had some training and has picked up something good from the West. They make the move to share that on that side. It may not catch on. Don't get disappointed.
Right.
Keep trying.
Yeah.
Because one of my goals in the future, and this is a retirement goal, is to set up an institution, a non-profit institution, to help young Ugandan lawyers that are freshly out of law school, to show them how they can work like an international lawyer at an international level.
Yeah. So mentorship
That can
compete at a global
hopefully
level.
help these people get jobs with global companies, global law firms, or even be representatives of global law firms in Uganda.
There you go.
It's a very common thing in Nigeria,
No, it
very
is.
common in Angola.
It is. Yeah, Angola is starting. Angola is starting now, and I say that because, in all honesty, what happened in Angola is that Angola, in this situation, ended up using so many foreigners for those key positions in law that our own lawyers didn't get a chance to shine, right? So now they finally getting to do that, and the new president, João Lourenço, is really key on that. This guy wants to ensure that, listen, we have stars here, and we need to put these stars in place to shine, okay? Because it is important, right? It is very important, because if we don't nurture our own, it will never happen. And I'll tell you what, the one thing that you mentioned in regards to this association that you're trying to create to help younger lawyers, it's so key, because I tell people all the time, there are behaviors and things that those of us that have lived outside of the continent have acquired because we dealt with those corporate institutions. We know how they function. There's a level of intel that we bring back that the continent lacks. And listen, the continent will not be able to move forward if it does not join forces with the diaspora in order to actually succeed. It may take a step, may be a huge step, but it will not be able to sustain itself and compete at a global level if it does not take use or make use of the intelligence and the know-how that the diaspora has to offer.
I agree.
Yeah. All right.
100%.
So, yeah. Let's go ahead and take another break, and we'll be right back. So if you just joined us, you're now tuned into Diaspora Central Spotlight with Gil Ingles, and my guest today is Mr. Ernest of the NTanda law firm. We'll be right back. And we are back. For those of you that just joined us, you're now tuned into Diaspora Central with Gil Ingles and our guest today, Mr. Ernest of the NTanda law firm. Mr. Ernest, law, communities, social responsibilities, global competitiveness, education, mentorship, being driven, being humble, educated, right? And when I say educated, I don't just mean well-read. I mean educated even in the way of being. Are attributes today required to survive what the new world requires of us.
Yes.
Your perspective on what the future looks like for the diaspora, law firms, the African lawyer, the African diasporan lawyer, and etc.
Yes, I'm going to wrap that up in a simple way. We have a big weakness.
Okay.
Time.
Yeah.
In Africa, in our continent, time. If you're trying to do something think of time. When you keep time, when you do things in a timely manner, you have respected people around you.
There you go.
That's one key thing.
Yeah.
We are better than we think we are. So be confident in what you do.
Okay.
Then there's a concept of ESG, environmental, social, and governance, used by companies, corporations.
Yeah.
Broadly, it's
Yeah.
a new concept in the
Right.
last
Yes.
less than 5 years.
Yes.
Apply that to yourself. If you're in a car back home and you had a juice box,
Right.
after it's finished, why do you throw it out?
Yeah,
Why do you
out the
throw
window.
Out the window. Care about your environment.
Right.
Keep it in the car. The
Yeah.
same way you don't want it in your car.
Yeah.
We don't want it on the road.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Socially, be accepting of everyone, regardless of their tribe, background, physical appearance.
Yeah. Global village.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then govern yourself responsibly. ESG.
There you go. On a personal level.
Personal level.
That is quite good. I think you summarized a solution for the continent in less than 2 minutes.
I think it's simple.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. You know, one interesting fact that very few people know of, and I kind of just want to bring this up. Angola and Uganda, they share the same colors and flag.
Oh,
right?
really?
Yeah, right. Red, yellow, black.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's,
Black, yellow, red.
Yeah. That's and who's the current president of Uganda?
Museveni.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How has it been?
Okay. It's been there for quite some time, since 86. And he's still the president of the country.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, and that's the one thing we have a concept that we normally use, which is basically the journey of the drum, right? This drum that has left Africa has come to the diaspora, now is going back to Africa, is basically to enhance what the continent used to be. Do you think that for African presidents that sit for quite a long time in the presidency of the country, do you see benefit in that at all, in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, I refrain to comment on politics.
Got you.
But my concept of that is, think about our parents.
Right.
They've owned businesses, enterprises. They've been in positions.
Right.
And how many African parents do you see have a transition plan?
Yeah. Yeah.
Very few.
Very.
Most cases,
Yeah.
after they have passed
Right.
or they are seriously ill, then they think of transitioning.
Right. Now, so then from a generic perspective, then it is probably something that we as
It's
Africans
cultural.
need to start thinking
Yeah.
and putting in place transitional plans way ahead of time, because a lot of times and that's a very good argument, because a lot of times we kind of tend to simply pick on the individual for the specific fact that they are there. We never think about all the other things that are necessary to ensure that there is a successful transition of power.
Yeah.
Right. And maybe those are the things that we need to culturally improve.
It starts from the home
There you go.
before you even go to the president.
Yeah. Now, anything else that you might want to add that we have not touched on?
Well, I think we have had a very good, well-encompassing conversation.
Thank you.
And I think being here in Houston, of course, I encourage people to check out our website. It's www.laclegalfirm.com.
Okay.
And visit us. Feel free to reach out to us. We are open 24/7.
Okay.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
phone is on
There you go.
day
24/7.
and night.
Yes. At any time, pick up the phone and
I'll
call.
pick up
Yeah.
and answer your call.
And
There's no stupid question.
there you go. I like that. And you cater to, of course, to corporate law, but also you do have a side of your firm that does cater to Personal injury.
Yeah, and that one is where I think, in my opinion, I reach out to different people and help different people.
Yeah.
And right now we cover many areas in Texas. We collaborate with different medical providers to provide the service, because that's the key to give you good health so that you get back to normal if you have been in a personal injury incident.
Okay.
So Austin, San Antonio, Dallas, the whole of Houston metropolitan is covered, El Paso, and, selfless service.
There you go. And that's what it is about.
I treat every client like they are the only one, the very last.
And that's what clients like.
Yes.
Yeah. They like to feel exclusive, and that's good service, right? Good service.
Yes.
Yeah, good service. Now, questions regarding Uganda, and this is a very quick back and forth, right? Your favorite food?
Matoke and binyebwa.
Okay, what exactly is that?
Bananas that are mashed and peanut sauce.
Okay, and you just are they cooked together, separate?
They are cooked separate, and the sauce, the peanut sauce, is on the side.
Got you.
And if you can add avocado.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, to that. So that's kind of pretty vegetarian.
Yes.
Yeah. No
Very
meat.
nice.
No meat in there. At all.
I love the meat, but sometimes you gotta
Yeah.
you gotta stay away from it.
There you go. And what's the name of that food?
Matoke
Matoke.
and binyebwa, but
And
in
binyebwa.
English would be bananas
Okay, bananas.
and peanut sauce.
Bananas and peanut sauce.
Yeah.
Okay. So one thing that every person that visits Uganda should try.
They should try Rolex.
Okay.
Rolex is basically paratha, chapati.
Okay.
Chapati is Indian origin.
Yeah, yeah.
Pakistani, I think.
Yes. Yeah. Eastern.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
Middle
eggs.
Eastern. Yeah.
The egg is made in an omelette
Okay.
and rolled together. This thing has gained so much popularity. Every foreigner that tests this thing
Yeah.
never goes back.
Now, is there a Ugandan restaurant here in Texas?
There's none. I've thought of initiating something, but
Yeah.
more from a barbecue perspective.
Okay.
We like to roast meat.
Yeah.
So if anything happened, it's going to be from on that angle.
There you go.
We walk in, roast a few kinds of meat. There's going
Yeah.
to be music in the background.
There you go.
Hopefully we can get some Ugandan and East African drinks in
There you go.
to get the flavors.
Yeah. One specific drink from East Africa that you think that people here would probably enjoy, what would that be?
Uganda Waraji.
Waraji.
It's a gin
Really?
from Uganda.
Do you guys, does Uganda export that?
Unfortunately not. So
Yeah.
when you go visit, you pick up a
A
bottle.
bottle and bring it with you.
It's done well. I've gifted this to different people from different backgrounds.
And they loved it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Listen, I appreciate you coming down and sharing these few minutes with us. I know that there's plenty to you. We just scratched the surface, but the surface is good. If you
Happy to come back next time.
Yeah, if you make me a promise, because I'm a man of promises, do you make me a promise that you will be back?
I promise I'll be back. I enjoyed my time here, Gil.
There you go.
It's a great pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
And
Likewise.
you making the time and selecting me as one of your guests.
Oh no, it's
Very honorable.
No, for us, it's a duty. In all honesty, if we don't showcase diaspora culture, we don't showcase diaspora talent, then we're not doing what we're doing for. So, for those of you that did spend these few minutes with us, there are a few things that I would like to leave with you and remind you of this program. One of them is the fact that, remember, be selective too. Remember, stay on target. Stay on target. Because if you don't stay on target, you will not hit the target. So stay on target. 3, consistency and persistency always wins. 4, be bold. Be bold enough to do 5, to take the leap of faith. Until next time, peace.
Sigadde bw'omunze teri ttaala mpewo